Alright guys, Tom here and welcome to a new video, and today I'm bringing you my WWE Raw preview, full show predictions, rumours and news including spoilers. And this week's Monday Night Raw comes from the Thompson Bowling Arena in Knoxville, Tennessee. Please can I get 100 likes on this video. I haven't done a WWE Monday Night Raw preview for a very long time. We will be getting on for around, is it a month or 2 months since I've done a WWE Monday Night Raw preview. So on this week's Monday Night Raw is extremely special because Daniel Bryan returns to the WWE after his neck surgery. Also, this is the last WWE Monday Night Raw before the WWE Payback pay-per-view on Sunday, the 2nd of June 2014. Very exciting. Can't wait for Payback on Sunday. And it's extremely important this week's Monday Night Raw because there will be a lot of matches that are going to be added on tonight's show for the pay-per-view on Sunday. And we've also got many returns to the WWE on tonight's Monday Night Raw. So, Monday Night Raw this week, of course, comes from Knoxville, Tennessee, like I've already said. But Summer Rae and The Miz have both been away to film the Marine 4. Summer Rae returned last week, of course, on Raw to kiss Fandango, but The Miz worked 2 shows during WWE's European tour in Strasbourg and Orchez, which are both in France. So The Miz worked 2 house shows during the European tour last week, both in France, in Strasbourg and Orchez. With Summer Rae returning last week and The Miz appearing at these 2 house shows in Europe last week, it is likely The Miz will make his return on this week's Monday Night Raw. He didn't make his return on last week's Raw, but Summer Rae did, so The Miz is likely to return to Monday Night Raw this week. Not really sure why they held the return back. They could have quite easily brought him back on last week's Monday Night Raw due to the fact that Summer Rae was away for the same reasons and she did return, so The Miz will probably return on tonight's Monday Night Raw instead. PW Insider via Wrestling Inc.'s Mark Middleton reports that Flair will be put with The Miz again. Apparently, Ric Flair still needs medical tests so that he can actually appear on Monday Night Raw and WWE shows. Currently, he is on the panel for a few of WWE's pay-per-views and Monday Night Raw's post and pre-shows, but Flair still needs to make medical tests so that he can be at ringside for what is likely going to be The Miz. Now, The Miz is, well, he does need a lot of flair adding to his character. In the last few years, The Miz really hasn't done anything. He's not as exciting as he used to be, and he really has no pizzazz whatsoever. And apparently, the fact that Flair will be put with The Miz again is great for The Miz's character, and I'm really excited to see what adding Flair to The Miz can do for The Miz. And this probably won't be on tonight's Monday Night Raw, but with The Miz returning maybe on tonight's Monday Night Raw, we might hear about Ric Flair coming back to manage The Miz, or they may hold back The Miz even further so that The Miz can actually return with Ric Flair when Ric Flair is eligible to come back to WWE TV and manage The Miz. So The Miz might not even return on tonight's Monday Night Raw. They might wait for Ric Flair to come back with him, or they might make Miz return on tonight's Monday Night Raw without Ric Flair and hold Ric Flair coming back for a later date. But it may be sooner than rather than later that The Miz does return to WWE, and it could all happen tonight on Monday Night Raw. I will talk about Summer Rae later on in this video. We have already seen Batista face Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins, but reports from F4W Online via WrestleZone's Zick Paglino say that Randy Orton versus Dean Ambrose is scheduled for Raw tomorrow night at Knoxville. So, this probably won't end up in a straight win. Randy Orton versus Dean Ambrose will probably end up in a no contest after Roman Reigns versus Batista and Seth Rollins versus Batista both ended in no contest. So it's very likely that Orton versus Ambrose on tonight's Monday Night Raw, which is scheduled, will once again end up in a no contest because so far I'm not really sure who's winning on Sunday, and if they end this match as a no contest, that just adds more drama to the match, more excitement, and more questions that need answering at Payback. It also seems a bit stupid ending Batista's match with Reigns and Rollins as no contest, and ending up with the last match before the pay-per-view, Orton versus Ambrose, as a clean win. Why don't you just keep the trend going and end this match as a no contest once again? Also, you want to go into that match with as much questions as possible, and you want them to be answered on Sunday. So if you have this ending as a no contest, it pretty much brings a lot of questions to the table. Who's going to win? Who's going to end up as the winners on Sunday? If you end this as a clean win, it kind of spoils it a bit. It kind of closes the feud a little bit. If you have it as a no contest, it still makes the feud up in the air. You have no idea what's going to happen, and it creates a turmoil in the feud. If you have a clean win here, it kind of ruins it a bit. You want to go in that match with as much as excitement as possible and as much anticipation as possible. So have this match, Orton and Ambrose, end in a no contest, and add to the drama of the match on Sunday. Milton of Wrestling Inc. from F4W Online said, "Word is that the official on-screen decision about the WWE World Heavyweight title will be made on this Monday's Memorial Day Raw." The article goes on to say that there was some speculation that they might carry the angle out over a few weeks. WWE are calling this part of the show, "Will Daniel Bryan surrender the title?" Saying "will" suggests that he has a choice, and it may mean they will turn this angle into an extended Daniel Bryan versus the Authority feud, because saying "will Daniel Bryan surrender the title" shows to me that he does have some option in the decision. So they could turn this into another Daniel Bryan versus the Authority feud, maybe with Triple H facing Daniel Bryan once again. Who knows? They could even have another Kane versus Daniel Bryan match with the Authority on the with Kane on the Authority side. Who knows? But they could have one more Daniel Bryan versus the Authority match, or this could open the feud once again. One thing we can count on is that Daniel Bryan will not be appearing at Payback due to his neck surgery, meaning WWE will have to muster together various matches on tonight's Raw to ensure that the show doesn't fall flat on its face in front of a not so easily pleased Chicago crowd. So even though Daniel Bryan will be on tonight's Monday Night Raw, it's really likely that he won't be appearing at the Payback show in a match. So WWE really need to muster together a lot more matches, because the card only has 4 matches so far. So the fact that there's no WWE title match shows to me that they really need to start bringing some more matches onto the card, or the Chicago crowd are absolutely going to eat that show up and boo the whole way through the show. They're going to be disinterested, and it's really going to fall flat on its face. Payback last year was great, so it's going to be a huge shame if this one is not so good. So the fact that Daniel Bryan won't be defending his title is going to be a huge shame, and I think that the fact that we're only 1 week away from the pay-per-view, they're not going to rush a title match, they're not going to create a title tournament, they're not going to do anything like that. They're going to span it over a few weeks after Payback, so maybe at the next pay-per-view, they're going to have a title tournament or a championship scramble or something like that. It'd be a shame if they were going to strip Daniel Bryan of the championship and create a scramble match at the last minute. That'd be something that they could build up over a few weeks, but the fact that Payback's next week, for them, they should keep the title off the show and build up a proper title match for the next pay-per-view. Whether Daniel Bryan keeps the title or not, I'm not quite sure, but it would be a huge shame that the fact that we waited all this long for him to win the title and then just to strip it off him due to injury. I mean, Daniel Bryan said himself, he's so good with injuries. He's probably had one injury during his whole career, one major injury, so it's a huge shame for him to lose the title, due to this one injury. So for me, I'm not particularly sure what is going to happen at the moment, but they're probably going to span it over a few weeks. They're not going to throw it away at the Payback show and have a championship tournament or something like that. We'll have to see, but it could all end up in another Daniel Bryan versus the Authority feud. Also, James Waterman on WWE.com's Raw Preview asks, has Alicia secured herself a Divas Championship match in the near future? With Alicia recently turning heel and her pinning Paige in her home country adds huge excitement to her character and to the feud. And surely with Alicia winning last week on Raw, Alicia should be granted a title match, and this should probably be at Payback next week on Sunday. So Alicia versus Paige should be announced tonight on Monday Night Raw. The fact that Paige has turned heel and there's not really any other Divas champion contender does add excitement to the feud, and does tell to me that maybe Alicia may win on Sunday. So I'm actually really excited for that match, and actually can't wait for that to be announced on tonight's Monday Night Raw. With the match card looking slim so far, will WWE seriously consider adding a second Divas match to the pay-per-view on Sunday? Layla and Summer Rae are stuck in a cat fight for Fandango, and for me it doesn't seem like a match they could throw away on a Raw due to how slim the Payback card is looking. Layla versus Summer Rae would also be a great way to put over Summer and to have an entertaining Divas match. Could they really throw away the chance at an entertaining Divas match and an opportunity to put over Summer Rae greatly? Would there be any point throwing that away on Raw when they could add it to Payback? And the fact that if it isn't added to the Payback show, don't be surprised if Layla versus Summer Rae happens tonight. So Summer Rae versus Layla could happen tonight, but considering the circumstances that the card is so slim for Payback, they may have to add a second Divas match to the card just to make up the matches. But will the Chicago crowd be happy that a second Divas match has been added to the card? I know a lot of fans call Divas matches toilet breaks. They don't watch them, they don't like them, so maybe adding a second one isn't very much of a good idea considering it is in Chicago as well. But it would be a great opportunity to, of course, have an entertaining Divas match. We know Layla and Summer Rae can put on an entertaining match, and also it'd be a great way to put over Summer Rae in front of the Chicago crowd and on a pay-per-view stage. Also, John Cena's already faced both Harper and Eric Rowan numerous times, and for me, as a fan, I've seen enough of these matches to last a lifetime. With the Usos likely facing Rowan and Harper for the tag team titles at Payback, could the Usos and John Cena team up to face the Wyatt family in a 6-man tag match to mix things up and have a memorable and exciting match? For me, I'd be happy and game for that to be the main event on tonight's Monday Night Raw. An exciting and memorable match to end Raw tonight would be great. The Usos and Cena teaming up to take on the Wyatt family sounds like a good idea on paper and might happen on tonight's Monday Night Raw. We also haven't had Harper and Eric Rowan versus the Usos announced for Payback, and that could also be announced for tonight's Monday Night Raw. Waterman asks on WWE.com, will Maddox be punished by the Authority for his apparent act of defiance? Maddox evened things out last week on Raw by adding Reigns and Ambrose as special guest commentators during Batista and Seth Rollins' match. From what Waterman says on his WWE.com Raw preview, I can only predict Evolution will attack Maddox as a way to go into their match on Sunday looking strong. So, the Evolution may attack Maddox on tonight's Monday Night Raw due to him adding Reigns and Ambrose as special guest commentators on Raw. Evolution may get their payback by attacking Maddox as a way to go into their match on Sunday looking strong. By doing this, they can build some momentum for the match without damaging the Shield's momentum. So attacking Brad Maddox gives momentum to Evolution without damaging the Shields. So, with no likeliness of a WWE World Heavyweight Championship match happening at Payback, WWE needs to add as much excitement as they can to the John Cena versus Bray Wyatt match and the Evolution versus Shield match. This way there is a clear main event for the show, and there are matches people are looking forward to. So what I'm saying is there's no real main event for this show now that Daniel Bryan won't be competing at Payback. So for me, they've got to use a large chunk of tonight's Monday Night Raw to show the fans what the main event will be. Will it be John Cena versus Bray Wyatt or Evolution versus The Shield? Presumably it will be the match it will be the angle which closes Monday Night Raw tonight. Will that be Cena versus Bray Wyatt or Evolution versus The Shield? Who knows, but a large chunk of tonight's Monday Night Raw will be to build up these two matches, considering there is no WWE World Heavyweight Championship match. These two matches are pretty much going to sell the pay-per-view, so a large chunk of the show tonight will be all about Cena and Wyatt and Evolution versus Shield. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you haven't enjoyed my preview. Take care. Spite your hair.